But Andrew, when you're talking about like coming after us, diversity, equity, and inclusion, you were talking about on the call that there's this new piece of legislation, like essentially the Trump administration is coming after us and basically trying to re-qualify who's a domestic terrorist. It's so much trying to keep up with the news. Like every time it's a Trump administration,
it's a lot.
I always say it's like trying to catch confetti. I cannot keep up. So I had no idea what you were talking about. But you seem passionate about it, and you seem like this is something that has not gotten a lot of coverage.
It's true.
Yeah. So I'm a little, the way you explained it made me nervous. So I want to hear more.
Well, I'll just say, and I don't want to take up too much of our time, but I just want our audience to really be aware that with all the stuff going on, and there is plenty of it for us to sop up, we don't need to miss the fact that Donald Trump, just this past week, issued a presidential memorandum. It's known as the National Security Presidential Memorandum, which shorthand is the NSPM-7. The National Security Presidential Memorandum 7 that came from Donald Trump. Now, what did that memorandum do? To put it in shorthand, it declares war on progressive or liberal infrastructure in this country. Its donors, its organizations and institutions, its individuals and staff who lead these organizations. Say, for instance, the NAACP. Say, for instance, Color of Change. Say, for instance, insert any nonprofit that you can name either locally or nationally that is doing work in service consistent with our values as a democracy, but more importantly, our issues and our values as people. Think Dream Defenders. Think, I don't know the tax status of Angela, of the State of the People, but if it were its own entity. Okay, so if there were a C3 and it was its own entity, it also is something that you can bring to mind. What the president is doing through this executive order is one, declaring war by basically deciding that these liberal, quote, liberal organizations, extremist organizations as he would categorize them, exist to foment violence against the right. Again, that's simply their framing. They are targeting the left or liberal groups that they describe as liberal extremists, and determining these groups to be domestic terrorist organizations. Domestic terrorist organizations. What does it do to declare them domestic terrorist organizations? It opens up a panoply of resources at the federal level that can then be used to go after those groups. Who are those? What are those entities that it opens up? So first of all, let me just define the expanded definition that it's giving to extremism and domestic terrorism. It now includes anti-Americanism, anti-capitalism, anti-Christianity.
Anti-capitalism?
Support for the overthrow of the United States government, extremism on migration, race, and gender, and hostility towards those who hold traditional American views on family, religion, and morality.
Oh my God.
Now, how much of that is subjective, first of all?
All of it.
And every bit
that
of
is
it,
so frightening.
Every bit of it, protected speech. Every bit of it, part of protected speech of which any of us can have an opinion on, create an organization and an advocacy agenda around, all of that. So this is the new definition that they are now including when they are defining these extremist radical left groups who are now being targeted by the federal government. So Stephen Miller at the White House, we all know him as the deputy chief of staff, but he's kind of the man over everything, is going to play point on introducing this new domestic terror campaign that the administration is undertaking. But Stephen Miller is also the same person who is quoted as saying that it is violent political speech to call Donald Trump, wait for it, an authoritarian. So by virtue of calling him an authoritarian now qualifies as, again, this is why we said this is all subjective, qualifies as violent rhetoric. But I have another suggestion. This is Stephen Miller giving his eulogy or comments at Charlie Kirk's large memorial service. And I actually would submit that this is violent political rhetoric. Take a listen and let me know what you think.
We will prevail over the forces of wickedness and evil. They cannot imagine what they have awakened. They cannot conceive of the army that they have arisen in all of us. Because we stand for what is good, what is virtuous, what is noble. And to those trying to incite violence against us, those trying to foment hatred against us, what do you have? You have nothing. You are nothing. You are wickedness, you are jealousy, you are envy, you are hatred. You are nothing. You can build nothing. You can produce nothing. You can create nothing. We are the ones who build. We are the ones who create. We are the ones who lift up humanity. You thought you could kill Charlie Kirk? You have made him immortal. You have immortalized Charlie Kirk. And now millions will carry on his legacy. And we will devote the rest of our lives to finishing the causes for which Charlie gave his last measure of devotion. You cannot defeat us, you cannot slow us, you cannot stop us, you cannot deter us. We will carry Charlie and Erica in our heart every single day and fight that much harder because of what you did to us. You have no idea the dragon you have awakened. You have no idea how determined we will be to save this civilization, to save the West, to save this republic. Because our children are strong, and our grandchildren will be strong, and our children's children's children will be strong. And what will you leave behind? Nothing, nothing. To our enemies, you have nothing to give, you have nothing to offer, you have nothing to share, but bitterness. We have beauty, we have light, we have goodness, we have determination, we have vision, we have strength. We built the world that we inhabit now, generation by generation, and we will defend this world. We will defend goodness, we will defend light, we will defend virtue. You cannot terrify us, you cannot frighten us, you cannot threaten us, because we are on the side of goodness, we are on the side of God.
So they are enlisting to, as part of their assemblage of resources to go after these folks, they are assembling the United States Attorney General, who will play point on this, Homeland Security, the Internal Revenue Service, the IRS here of the government, and they are operationalizing what is known as the locally, well, actually across the country, is known as basically the terrorism coordinating body. That includes certain state officials and state offices. That includes over 2,200 employees of the Department of Justice, anti-terrorism units. It evokes at the state and the national level all of the coordinating groups on anti-terrorism, and they are now all being charged to turn their energy not to real threats of terrorism in the United States. They are all now being directed to turn their attention to these leftist groups, extremist groups, who foment violence against the right.
Oh my God. They can start. So just so I'm clear, you're saying they can start arresting people. They can start. Okay. When you were talking about this on the call earlier, I don't think I fully understood the scope of what you were saying. This is actually, why this is not a breaking news banner across every news station. Why this is not A1 above the fold in every newspaper right now. I'm embarrassed and ashamed. I did not know about NSPM-7. This is a declaration of war on all. They could say NLP. Is targeting this can lead to mass arrest. This is COINTELPRO. This is McCarthyism.
Absolutely.
This is
and
terrifying.
for those of us who don't believe that it can happen, It has already happened in this country before. They didn't have the moniker. The difference is that the power of being able to declare these groups domestic terrorists unleashes a set of policies that were approved post 9/11 that were used by the Bush administration, the warrantless wiretapping, some of the other subterranean investigative tools that the government can use. It turns all of that operation on and now directs it to these, quote, enemies of the state that the Trump administration identifies. And I'll say one other thing, and I'll bring it to a close, which is this will entrust and basically now obligate the FBI's over 40,000 Joint Terrorism Task Force units to now become operational in the United States. It admonishes the Department of Justice to begin conducting interviews, investigations, and interrogations against employees, leaders, executive directors, presidents of these organizations, funders of these organizations. And by the way, some of these funders are big money donors, but some of these funders are regular people like you and me who are giving $20.20 every month. They now get to interrogate these individuals under this auspice to root out whether or not there is propaganda or speech within these organizations that has the ability to foment violence. The other thing that this thing is doing is it is not just solving a crime after a crime has happened. It is saying that their major goal is to prevent these violent actions from ever taking place. Now, what does that do? That means it becomes highly subjective, highly theorized by the government what they think your intention is. And then they get to then basically do the work to drive you toward that conclusion. Oh, well, we just averted a potential domestic terrorist event by keeping the state of the people from protesting against the death of citizen X, Y, and Z. So y'all, I don't want you to think that this is just going to impact people who are the big known names, who are the faces in which we recognize every day in or out. The truth is that Ahmaud Arbery or Breonna Taylor, they were just regular people before they weren't. They were. These are folks who are just living until they get on the wrong side of the opinion of the leader. So if you don't think autocracy has already taken hold in this country, if you don't think that the instruments of government are already being organized and leveraged against us, and through this memorandum with nobody to stop him or to hold him to account, and a Supreme Court who is complicit in this expedient move toward authoritarianism, we are about to be at this game by ourselves, y'all. So I want y'all to look it up, research it, learn more. I don't have the whole show to go through all of it, but just know that this thing is real, and it is believed by the reporting entities that work has already begun, that they have already begun on their targets to drive them toward this end.
They have. And I wanted to just flag one other thing. There was an executive memo with an accompanying executive order. And I want to be clear that the accompanying executive order is designating Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization. And Antifa has always been an umbrella for anything they don't like, anything other. So absolutely. I just wanted to flag that this was on the other side of Charlie Kirk's murder. They now are trying to pin this on all things left. And we know left is a spectrum, and all of that now is being deemed violent to them.
Angela, you're 1,000% right. I failed to mention the Antifa piece of this. They declare Antifa a terrorist organization.
Correct.
And y'all, you can Google it right now. There is no Antifa board. There's no Antifa president.
Antifa?
There's no
It's
Antifa
an umbrella.
organization.
It's always been an umbrella.
Antifa is a theory. It is a theorem. It is a belief system. It is ideological. And that's the beauty of them identifying Antifa as the instrument, because they can go, just like they did during the Red Scare.
Yeah.
They can go and determine any one of us as Antifa.
That is frightening.
Any one of us. Even though there doesn't even exist an organization such.
That is so frightening.
That's the thing.
Natively and Pod is a production of iHeartRadio in partnership with Reason Choice Media. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.